Fellas, is she suddenly distant? That gut-wrenching feeling when her texts go from warm and engaging to short one-word answers. The intimacy you once shared feels like it's fading into the rearview mirror, and you're left replaying every interaction, every conversation, desperately trying to pinpoint what went wrong. You're probably asking yourself, was it something I said? Something I did? That confusion, that anxiety? I get it. It's a tough place to be when you feel someone you care about slipping away, and you're scrambling for answers, feeling utterly helpless and wondering if you've lost her for good. But here's the good news, and I really want you to hear this. You don't have to stay stuck in that painful loop of self-doubt and frustration. Often the reasons her attraction seems to have dwindled aren't as complex or as deeply personal as your mind might be telling you. It's not always about some monumental mistake you made or a fatal flaw in your character. In this very video, I'm going to pull back the curtain and reveal the real, often subtle reasons her attraction might have taken a nosedive. More importantly, I'm handing you 5 powerful, actionable strategies you can implement starting today to completely flip that script and turn things around. These aren't just superficial tricks or quick fixes. They're fundamental shifts in your approach that will not only reignite that initial spark you once had, but can genuinely make her chase you with a renewed and even surprising intensity. So, if you're ready to stop wondering, stop worrying, and start taking decisive control of your love life, stick around with me until the very end. What I'm about to share has the profound potential to save your current relationship, or perhaps spark something even more incredible and fulfilling. Welcome to Intimacy Unlocked. Let's dive right in and get you back in the driver's seat. All right, let's get straight to it with a cold, hard truth. One that many guys, even the best-intentioned ones, stumble over without even realizing the damage it's doing. Here it is, plain and simple. Predictability is one of the fastest and most effective ways to kill attraction stone dead. I want you to think about it for a moment. When you first met her, there was an undeniable element of the unknown. A certain mystique, wasn't there? She didn't know everything about your past, your daily routines, or your every thought, and that inherent mystery created a powerful sense of intrigue. It made her curious. It made her want to know more, to uncover the layers. But what so often happens as time goes on in a relationship? We tend to fall into comfortable, sometimes monotonous patterns. You're always there, consistently available at her beck and call, replying to her texts within milliseconds as if your life depended on it, perhaps a little too eager to please, to anticipate her every need. Now, while your intentions are undoubtedly good, you're trying to show her how much you care, how reliable you are. What this constant availability and predictability actually communicates on a subconscious level is that you're a known quantity, an open book. And that, my friend, can inadvertently, yet significantly, lower your perceived value in her eyes. It's a subtle erosion of attraction, but a powerful one nonetheless. Now, I want to be crystal clear on this point. This isn't about advocating for playing manipulative head games or being intentionally deceitful. That's not what we're about here. It's about understanding a fundamental, almost primal aspect of human attraction, especially when it comes to feminine energy and how it responds to masculine presence. Women are often, on a deep, subconscious level, drawn to a sense of challenge, a sense of intrigue. Not an aggressive, I'm going to make things deliberately difficult for you kind of challenge, but rather the kind that signals inherent value, self-respect, and the fact that you have a full, engaging life of your own, independent of her. When she had to wonder a little about what you were up to, when she wasn't entirely sure when your next reply would come, or who else might be vying for your time and attention, that created a natural, compelling tension. That mystery, that slight, intriguing unpredictability, was a powerful hook. It kept her engaged, curious, and emotionally invested in figuring you out, in winning your valuable attention. So how do we consciously and strategically flip this dynamic and bring back that magnetic, irresistible pull she once felt? The very first step is to consciously reintroduce a healthy dose of that alluring distance and intriguing mystery. Let's start by examining your texting habits, a common pitfall. If you're typically an instant responder, the guy who drops everything the moment her message pops up, I want you to experiment with intentionally delaying your replies. Not every single time, and certainly not to the point of being rude or dismissive, but just enough to break that established pattern of immediate availability. Let her wonder for a moment what you're doing. Maybe you're engrossed in an exciting project. Maybe you're out with friends. Maybe you're deeply focused on your personal goals. The point isn't to play hard to get in a juvenile way, but to subtly signal that your world doesn't solely revolve around her notifications and her immediate demands for your attention. This subtle shift can make a monumental difference in how she perceives the value of your time and your focus. And finally, a truly critical piece of this power shift, something that underpins true confidence. You must stop constantly seeking her validation. Truly confident men who are secure in their own intrinsic value and worth, don't repeatedly ask those needy questions like, "Are we okay? Do you still like me as much? Did I do something wrong to upset you?" They lead with a quiet, unshakable assurance. They trust in the connection they're actively building, or they possess the inner strength to be prepared to walk away if the relationship genuinely isn't right or isn't being reciprocated. When you subtly, yet firmly and confidently, shift the power dynamic back towards yourself by consistently demonstrating that you have a full, engaging, and purposeful life, and that your core happiness isn't solely dependent on her approval or her mood, her curiosity will inevitably be piqued. Her attraction often follows suit, returning with a surprising and renewed strength. Now, let's move on to something that's absolutely fundamental, a core ingredient, to reigniting that fiery spark you're missing, your sexual confidence. And please understand, this isn't just about the mechanics of what happens or doesn't happen in the bedroom. It's far more encompassing. It's about the powerful, often unspoken energy you project in your daily interactions, the way you carry yourself with self-assurance, the subtle yet potent signals you send long before any clothes come off. Let's be brutally honest with ourselves for a moment here. If that vibrant sexual energy between you and her has noticeably faded, a significant part of the reason could very well be because you've stopped showing up with that confident, assertive, masculine edge that she initially found so captivating. If you find yourself constantly waiting, almost passively, for her to make the first move, to initiate any form of intimacy, if you're hesitating to reach out for a touch, lean in for a kiss, or even make prolonged eye contact out of an underlying fear of rejection or awkwardness, you're inadvertently sending a very clear, albeit unintended message. That message is, I'm unsure of myself, I'm unsure of my own desirability, and I'm perhaps even unsure of your interest in me. This hesitation, this lack of confident initiative can unfortunately act like a wet blanket on the flames of her desire, slowly extinguishing the passion that once burned brightly between you. I need you to understand this deeply. Women are profoundly, almost instinctively drawn to men who confidently own their desire. And I must emphasize, I'm not talking about being forceful, disrespectful, aggressive, or pushy in any way. Absolutely not. That kind of behavior is a massive turnoff and completely counterproductive. What I'm referring to is a man who is comfortable and at ease with his own sexuality, who isn't afraid to express his attraction for her in a way that is confident, assertive, and yet always deeply respectful of her boundaries and her feelings. It's about conveying through your words and actions that you know what you want, that you find her incredibly desirable, and you're not afraid to pursue that connection, but always with a keen awareness and unwavering attunement to her comfort levels and her explicit or implicit consent. This kind of authentic confidence doesn't need to shout from the rooftops. It's a quiet, magnetic power that she will feel on a visceral level, and believe me, it's incredibly sexy to her. So, how do you begin to dial up this essential sexual confidence? Starting right now, today? One incredibly powerful and often enjoyable way is through the art of playful teasing and consistent, lighthearted flirting. Don't reserve these interactions only for special occasions or when the mood feels perfect. Instead, make it a part of your everyday dynamic. Drop a cheeky, flirty comment during a mundane conversation about groceries or household chores. Send a suggestive yet tasteful text message during the day that leaves her smiling, a little flustered, and definitely thinking about you in that way. Keep it light, spontaneous, fun, and perhaps just a little bit mischievous. The primary goal here is to reintroduce that charged, playful, exciting energy that so often characterizes the early, intoxicating stages of a romance. It subtly but effectively reminds her that you see her as a desirable, sexy woman, not just a partner, a roommate, or a friend. This creates anticipation and keeps the vital sexual tension alive and simmering. Beyond playful words and banter, it's also time to consider initiating bolder, yet still entirely respectful and attuned moves. When the moment feels right, when you sense that connection and a bit of a spark, don't overthink it into oblivion. Lean in and kiss her unexpectedly, with genuine passion and presence. Don't just peck her on the cheek. Make it a kiss that reminds her of the chemistry you share. At another opportune moment, lean in close and whisper something in her ear about what you'd like to do to her later. Something that conveys your desire directly and confidently, yet intimately. These aren't necessarily grand, complicated romantic gestures. They are often small, decisive actions that effectively break the routine, inject a jolt of excitement, and communicate your continued attraction. Remember, genuine confidence is a potent aphrodisiac. When you lead with that kind of assertive, yet always attuned and respectful energy, you're not just initiating physical contact. You're igniting her imagination and powerfully rekindling her desire for you. Chapter 3. Beyond the Physical, the secret to making her deeply attracted again. Alright guys, we've delved into the crucial roles of power dynamics and boosting your sexual confidence, both of which are undeniably vital components in reigniting attraction. But there's another layer, an equally important dimension that often gets overlooked or underestimated. Yet it's the very bedrock upon which lasting attraction, profound intimacy, and a truly deep connection are built. I'm talking, of course, about the emotional connection you share with her. It's all too easy to get caught up in the chase, the excitement of the physical side of things, and inadvertently forget that for many women, perhaps most women, emotional intimacy is the fertile, nurturing ground from which genuine, sustainable physical attraction truly blossoms and is consistently sustained over the long haul. If you've noticed her becoming increasingly distant, emotionally reserved, or even cold towards you, there's a very strong probability that the emotional bridge that once connected you has developed a few significant cracks, or perhaps has even started to seriously crumble under the weight of neglect or misunderstanding. This isn't to assign blame, but rather to highlight an area that needs your focused attention. You can possess all the charm and sexual chemistry in the world, but if she doesn't feel emotionally safe, deeply understood, and genuinely connected with you on an intimate level, that physical attraction will always be fragile, easily disrupted, and ultimately unfulfilling for both of you. We need to focus on repairing and rebuilding that essential emotional foundation. So, how do we actively and intentionally work to reignite that crucial emotional attraction, starting from this very moment? The first, and arguably the most powerful tool in your entire relationship arsenal is the practice of deep, empathetic listening. This means that when she's talking to you, sharing her thoughts, her feelings, her day, you're not just physically present, but mentally and emotionally present as well. Put your phone away, face down, out of sight. Turn off the distracting television or computer screen and give her your complete, undivided attention. Ask thoughtful, open-ended questions that go beyond the superficial daily updates. Questions that clearly demonstrate you're genuinely curious about her inner world, her dreams, her anxieties, her passions, the things that truly make her who she is. Listen not just to the literal words she's saying, but also try to tune into the emotions, the subtext, the feelings that lie beneath the surface of her words. Crucially, validate her feelings. Acknowledge them as real and important, even if you don't fully agree with her perspective or her interpretation of events. Make her feel, consistently, that she can share absolutely anything with you without fear of judgment, dismissal, or criticism. Beyond the fundamental practice of deep listening, I want you to think about proactively planning and creating meaningful experiences together. I'm not just talking about another routine dinner out and a predictable movie, though those can certainly have their place. I mean, crafting experiences that are specifically tailored to her, experiences that clearly show you've been paying close attention to her desires, her interests, and her personality. Surprise her with something that's thoughtfully connected to a cherished memory you both share. Or perhaps a long-held dream she once mentioned to you in passing, even if it was a while ago. It could be as simple as revisiting the charming little cafe where you had your first date, or as involved as setting up an afternoon dedicated to a hobby she loves but rarely makes time for. These kinds of thoughtful gestures powerfully demonstrate your care, your attention to detail, and your genuine desire to connect with her on a level that transcends the mundane everyday routine. They create new, positive shared memories and significantly reinforce the unique bond between you. And please, never, ever underestimate the profound cumulative power of simple, consistent thoughtfulness in your daily interactions. It's so often the small, seemingly insignificant things that actually make the biggest, most lasting impact on how she feels valued and loved. A heartfelt, handwritten note left on her pillow or in her work bag. A small, unexpected gift that clearly shows you were thinking of her during your day. It doesn't have to be expensive, it's the thought that counts. Or even just proactively taking a household chore off her plate without being asked or expecting praise. These quiet acts of service, consideration, and affection communicate care, appreciation, and partnership far more effectively than grand, infrequent gestures. Your overarching goal here should be to consistently make her feel like she is the most important, most valued, most cherished woman in your world. When she feels that deep, unwavering emotional security and profound appreciation from you, her desire for you, both emotionally and physically, will inevitably return, often with a renewed strength and passion that might just surprise you. Chapter 4. The Visual Magnet. How upgrading your look reignites her primal attraction. Okay, let's be very direct and address something that can sometimes feel a little uncomfortable or even superficial to talk about, but is undeniably fundamentally important when it comes to attraction: your physical appearance. Now, I already know some guys out there will immediately jump to, but she should love me for who I am on the inside, for my personality. And of course, that's absolutely true, and critically vital for any healthy, meaningful, long-term connection. The inner qualities are the foundation. However, let's not delude ourselves or ignore basic human nature attraction, especially in its initial powerful stages, and certainly for maintaining that ongoing spark and excitement, has a very significant visual component. It's just how we're wired. I want you to take a moment and think back to when you first started dating her, or even when you were just trying to get her attention. You likely put in a noticeably greater amount of effort into how you looked, didn't you? You probably chose your outfits more carefully, ensuring they were clean, stylish, and fit well. You made sure your grooming, your hair, your shave, your scent was on point. Maybe you were hitting the gym more regularly, feeling more energetic and confident in your own skin. This effort wasn't just for her. It was also about presenting the best version of yourself, and that naturally boosted your own self-esteem, which is inherently attractive. But what frequently happens over time, as we get more comfortable in a relationship? It's incredibly easy to let things slide, to get a bit complacent. Maybe those well-fitted shirts that made you look sharp have been gradually replaced by old, stretched-out t-shirts and comfortable but shapeless sweatpants. Perhaps the regular haircuts have become less frequent, appointments postponed or forgotten, or you've simply stopped paying as much meticulous attention to those small but significant grooming details that used to be second nature. If you've let yourself go, even just a little bit, I can assure you of this. She's noticed. And it's not primarily about her being superficial or judging you harshly. It's about what that perceived lack of effort subtly communicates. Subconsciously, it can send a message that you've stopped trying, not just for her, but perhaps more importantly, for yourself. And that perceived decline in self-care and self-respect can unfortunately, yet inevitably, dampen her attraction towards you. So what concrete steps can you take to upgrade your appearance and effectively reignite that powerful visual pull, starting right now, today? First and foremost, take a good, honest, objective look at your current wardrobe. Are your clothes fitting you well, or are they too loose, too tight, or generally unflattering? Do they make you feel confident and put together, or do they make you feel sloppy and uninspired? You don't need to break the bank and buy an entirely new designer wardrobe, but investing strategically in a few key pieces that genuinely make you look, and, just as importantly, feel good can make a world of difference. It's time to ditch the worn-out, stained, or ill-fitting items. Consider your personal style. Does it accurately reflect the confident, attractive, and successful man you aspire to be, or the man you once were? Even seemingly small changes, like a new pair of well-fitting jeans, a tailored blazer, or a few shirts that complement your complexion and physique, can significantly boost your visual appeal and your own confidence. Next up is grooming. These are the absolute non-negotiables, the fundamentals of self-presentation. This includes a fresh haircut that actually suits your face shape and lifestyle, a neatly trimmed beard if you have one, or a consistently clean shave, and paying close attention to often overlooked details like clean, trimmed fingernails, fresh breath, and subtle, pleasant cologne. These are the basics, yes, but they matter immensely in close quarters. They signal self-respect, attention to detail, and a consideration for those around you, qualities that are universally attractive. And let's not forget the profound impact of getting active again. You don't need to transform into a professional bodybuilder overnight, but re-engaging with regular physical activity, even if it's just brisk walks, light workouts at home, or joining a sports team, will dramatically improve your energy levels, your posture, your physique, and most importantly, your overall confidence. When you feel better physically, it naturally radiates outwards and positively influences how others perceive you, especially her. Chapter 5. The Ultimate Aphrodisiac: Why Her Attraction Skyrockets When You Take Charge. Alright, we've covered some incredibly important and actionable ground so far, but this final strategy, the one we're diving into in Chapter 5, is very often the absolute game changer for so many men who are looking to reignite passion and attraction. This is frequently the big one, the element that can shift the entire dynamic in your relationship almost instantly and profoundly. I'm talking, gentlemen, about taking the lead, decisively and confidently. There is something profoundly, almost primally attractive to the feminine essence about a man who leads. And I want to be very clear. I'm not talking about leading in an overbearing, tyrannical, or controlling way. That's not leadership. That's insecurity. I mean leading with a calm, assured, confident decisiveness that makes her feel safe and excited. If you found yourself over time becoming increasingly indecisive, constantly deferring to her for all the plans, or habitually hesitating to make choices, big or small, you might be inadvertently, yet significantly, undermining her attraction to you. Think about it from her perspective. Leadership, in its healthiest form, signals strength, clear direction, a sense of purpose, and an ability to navigate the world effectively. It tells her, on a subconscious level, that you're a man who knows what he wants and isn't afraid to go after it. Whether that's in your shared life, in your career aspirations, or in the intimate context of the relationship itself. When you constantly pepper her with questions like, "So, what do you want to do tonight?" Or, "Where do you think we should go for dinner?" Or, "Is this okay with you?" While it might genuinely come from a well-intentioned place of wanting to be considerate and inclusive, it can actually create an unspoken burden for her. It can subtly erode her perception of you as a strong, capable, masculine presence who can take charge and create wonderful experiences. Women often crave, even if they don't explicitly state it, a partner who can confidently take the reins sometimes, who can make decisions, and who can inject a sense of adventure and certainty into the relationship. So, how do you start to embody this incredibly attractive leadership quality in your interactions with her? First, and this is a big one, stop asking for permission for every little thing and start making some confident decisions. Instead of the tentative, "Hey, do you maybe want to go out for dinner on Friday if you're free?" Try a more assertive, yet still inviting approach like, "Hey, I'm taking you out on Friday night. I've got a great new place in mind I think you'll love. Be ready around 8. Can you feel the difference in energy? It's assertive, it's confident, it builds anticipation, and it kindly takes the mental load of planning off her shoulders for a change. Make it a habit to plan some dates and outings completely on your own, without her input. Surprise her. Show genuine initiative. Most women will secretly, or perhaps not so secretly, adore the fact that you've taken the time and effort to plan something special and are confidently leading the way. It allows her to relax, to feel cherished, and to simply enjoy being with you, trusting in your lead. Another absolutely crucial aspect of effective and attractive leadership is owning your voice and your convictions. Speak clearly, directly, and confidently about what you want, what you believe in, what your values are, and where you see things going in your life and in the relationship. This doesn't mean being dogmatic, inflexible, or completely ignoring her input. A true leader is also a great listener and collaborator, but it absolutely does mean having a distinct point of view, having standards, and not being afraid to express them respectfully. If you disagree with something she says or does, state your case calmly but firmly, with your reasoning. If you have a vision for your future together, or for your personal goals, articulate it with passion and clarity. A man who is consistently wishy-washy, who constantly changes his mind solely to please others, or who seems to lack any strong personal convictions is rarely seen as a leader, and it's certainly rarely attractive in the long run. And finally, a true hallmark of authentic leadership, and something incredibly reassuring to a woman, is the ability to stay calm, composed, and resourceful, especially when under pressure or during inevitable conflicts. Life will always throw curveballs, and no relationship is without its disagreements or challenging moments. A man who can navigate these choppy waters without losing his cool, who can think clearly and rationally amidst chaos, and who can guide the situation towards a constructive resolution, is incredibly reassuring and deeply attractive. Leadership, at its core, isn't about dominance or control. It's about providing a sense of security, unwavering direction, and inherent strength. When you consistently embody these qualities, when you become that decisive, confident leader in your own life and, by extension, in the relationship, she won't just willingly follow your lead. She'll be magnetically, irresistibly drawn to it. Look, and I really want this to sink in deep because its fundamental attraction isn't a static, one-time achievement. It's not something you attain once like a trophy, and then it's set in stone, permanently displayed on the mantelpiece forever. It's dynamic. It's a living, breathing fire that needs to be consistently stoked, something you must actively, consciously, and continuously create, and, just as importantly, sustain over the entire course of your relationship. Complacency, my friends, is the silent enemy of passion and connection. But the good news, the really empowering news I want you to take away, is that you have far more control, far more agency over this than you probably currently believe. The power to reignite that spark, to make her feel that intense, almost irresistible pull towards you again, is genuinely within your grasp. If you genuinely commit to applying these 5 powerful strategies we've talked through today, strategically flipping that power dynamic, significantly boosting your authentic sexual confidence, intentionally rebuilding that crucial emotional connection, consistently leveling up your appearance and self-care, and decisively taking the lead, you won't just be merely reigniting her passing interest. You'll be actively creating a compelling scenario where she genuinely starts to chase you, to crave your attention, your presence, your touch, and ultimately, to fall for you deeply and passionately, all over again. It's about becoming the most attractive, confident, and authentic version of yourself. And that, gentlemen, is truly irresistible. Now, if you're truly serious about transforming not just this specific situation, but your entire approach to dating, attraction, and relationships, if you're committed to genuinely becoming that high-value man that women are undeniably and instinctively drawn to, then you absolutely need to click right here to watch our next vital video. Signs she's playing you. Don't be fooled. It's essential viewing for any man navigating the complexities of modern romance. Don't miss out on that crucial insight. And of course, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell for more unfiltered, no-nonsense, actionable advice on love, attraction, and becoming the man she truly desires and respects. This is Intimacy Unlocked, and trust me on this, we're only just getting started on this journey together.